What has not been revealed may be more important than what has been said. Let's start with an unsettling truth. Every year, about 800,000 children go missing in the United States alone. That's a shocking statistic, isn't it? But what happens when we look beyond the number? Many of these stories vanish into the fog of time, not due to a lack of investigation, but because public perception is more powerful than reality itself. Are we being guided by narratives that lead us away from the truth? Imagine waking up one day and realizing that the world around you isn't what it seems. What if everything you know about a missing person case is just an illusion, carefully crafted by the media? I promise that by the end of this video, you'll have a new understanding of how truths can be manipulated. And the McCann family's story is the key that will unlock this perspective. Let me share something personal. Once, I blindly trusted a story I saw on the news. It was about a corruption case that caused a huge uproar. I felt anger, frustration, and a desire for justice. But over time, I realized there were more layers than I could have imagined. It wasn't just the facts shaping the narrative, but how those facts were presented. That's when I started questioning everything. I remembered Jean Baudrillard's theory about how representation can overshadow reality, and it fits perfectly with cases like the McCanns. A 2021 study published in the Journal of Criminal Psychology revealed that media coverage can impact criminal investigations, creating public pressure that diverts precious resources. So why does this happen? It's simple. The media often offers us simplified narratives that feed our biases and emotions, and so we're led to accept stories that may not be entirely true, but satisfy our need for clarity and justice. Think about the times you heard a story and immediately jumped to conclusions. We've all done it, but what if I told you the truth is hidden behind layers of manipulated perception? It's like a puzzle with missing pieces. The case of Ethan Patz, for example, shows how a disappearance can be turned into a symbol, distorting our perception of reality. The consequences of not questioning these narratives are profound. We may not only lose the truth, but also harm investigations that could otherwise lead to justice. Yet, there's hope. I know someone who decided to dive deep into a notorious case and, through critical questioning, brought new perspectives that reopened the investigation. This shows that change is possible when we choose not to accept everything presented to us. The urgency here is clear. We need to be vigilant. We need to question, investigate, and never take a story at face value. Because in the end, realizing that reality can be distorted by perception is the key to unlocking the truth. But what happens when reality is warped by perception? Let's explore how some of the most intriguing criminal investigations have been shaped by this complex dynamic. Imagine yourself in the shoes of a family whose life is suddenly turned upside down by a disappearance. All eyes are on you. Every move is judged. Every word is interpreted by a global audience. The pressure is unbearable, but what really matters, finding the missing person, seems to get lost in the chaos. This is what happened with the West Memphis 3, a landmark case that reveals how public perception can derail an investigation. In the 1990s, 3 teenagers were convicted of murdering 3 children in West Memphis. The narrative that the teens committed a satanic crime quickly dominated the media, shaping public perception before any solid evidence was presented. Years later, new evidence emerged, and confirmation bias, the desire to believe only what reinforces our pre-existing opinions, proved to be one of the hidden villains in this story. People believed what they wanted to believe, fueled by sensationalist coverage that prioritized spectacle over truth. It's frustrating to realize how these media distortions can influence the outcome of investigations. A scientific study published in the Journal of Criminal Psychology highlights that, in many cases, excessive media exposure not only diverts resources, but also creates a parallel narrative that can sabotage the search for truth. And it makes you wonder, how many times have you been led to believe something just because it was more convenient or exciting than reality? But don't think you're alone in feeling this way. Many people feel powerless when they realize justice isn't always served, especially when narratives are manipulated to satisfy an audience eager for quick resolution and drama. Perhaps you found yourself in a situation where the truth seemed to slip through your fingers, where justice felt distant and the facts distorted. Why does this happen? Because emotional and cognitive factors, like confirmation bias, make us seek information that validates our beliefs, often ignoring the truth right in front of us. This bias is widely exploited by media outlets that know exactly how to manipulate public opinion. And you might be wondering, how can I avoid falling into this trap? The key is to recognize that not everything is as it seems, that narratives can be shaped by interests that aren't always obvious. If we're not vigilant, these interests can suffocate the truth, derail investigations, and, in the process, destroy lives. Imagine a year from now if we continue to accept everything presented to us without questioning. The consequences could be devastating. Did you know that a study found that in 30% of high-profile disappearance cases, investigations go cold due to media pressure and resource depletion? This means the truth can be stifled not only by a lack of information, but by an excess of noise. And that noise can be so deafening that it makes us forget what really matters. Now, allow yourself to reflect. To what extent are we willing to accept that justice is dictated by media narratives? Think about this as we consider the consequences of not addressing these issues. We are talking about lives left in limbo, families that may never get answers if we're not vigilant. And so we reach the micro-climax of this segment, the revelation that the media can derail investigations, influencing outcomes, should awaken in you not just frustration, but a real desire for change. If the media holds so much power, what else is being hidden? What are we not seeing because we've been taught to look in the wrong direction? It's time to start questioning. Because, as we'll see next, the solution to this enigma lies not only in exposing the truth, but in understanding how it can be suffocated by hidden interests presented as reality. And you, are you ready for this journey of discovery? Have you ever stopped to think about how hidden interests can suppress the truth? This is a crucial point that often goes unnoticed in high-profile investigations, like the McCann case. Let's dive deep into this idea and find out why. At the heart of this issue is a fascinating scientific discovery. A 2021 study from the Journal of Criminal Psychology revealed that investigations can be severely impacted by interests that aren't immediately visible. These interests often have little to do with the pursuit of justice, and instead focus on maintaining certain public narratives that favor powerful groups or avoid embarrassment for influential figures. It may seem counterintuitive, but it's the reality we face. Now think of an investigation as a puzzle with missing pieces. Each piece represents a truth or fact that, if absent, prevents us from seeing the full picture. Hidden interests often act as these missing pieces, either deliberately or through negligence, leaving gaps in the narrative the public consumes. This analogy sheds light on why it's essential to remain vigilant. But how does this translate into practice? Let's look at the reopening of the McCann case in 2020. This practical example shows that even years after the initial disappearance, new leads can emerge when the focus shifts to a more objective investigation, less influenced by external pressures. The key here is active vigilance, an approach that demands constant critical thinking and a willingness to reassess information as it arises. To apply this active vigilance in our own lives, we can follow 3 simple but powerful steps. First, always question the source of the information. Where does this story come from? Who benefits from this narrative? Second, seek multiple perspectives. Don't rely on just one version of the facts. Explore different angles and interpretations. Third, look for what's not being said. Often, what's omitted can be more revealing than what's openly stated. A practical tool to aid in this process is the 5 whys technique. Ask why 5 times in a row about a fact or statement to get to the root of the issue. This helps dismantle superficial narratives and reveals underlying motivations that might otherwise go unnoticed. To validate this approach, let's look at a specific success story. Imagine an investigator who was able to reopen a closed case simply by questioning the official narrative with the right tools. By applying the 5 whys technique, they identified inconsistencies others had overlooked. As a result, new evidence was uncovered, leading to a breakthrough in the case, and ultimately justice for the victim. The data speaks for itself. In cases where active vigilance was applied, there was a significant increase in case resolution rates, according to a study from the International Journal of Criminal Justice. Testimonials from investigators who adopted this approach report a renewed sense of purpose and success, transforming previous despair into ideas immediately. Take a recent disappearance case or any media narrative that catches your attention and use the 5 whys to deepen your understanding. Write down your findings and compare them to the initial coverage you consumed. You'll quickly see how much can be revealed with a bit of curiosity and skepticism. And so, we reach the micro-climax of this segment. The revelation that hidden interests can suppress the truth should ignite a spark of vigilance in you. How can we ensure the truth prevails? That's the question that will lead us to explore even deeper methods of applying active vigilance, keeping the pursuit of justice alive and effective. Have you noticed how easily hidden interests can manipulate an investigation's narrative? In Block 3, we discussed the importance of active vigilance, and now we'll dive deeper into how to apply it in practice. Let's explore 5 specific steps to ensure you can effectively question narratives and stay alert to truths that may be manipulated. First, start by building a solid foundation of information. Use the Pocket app to organize all relevant articles, videos, and data about the case that interests you. Dedicate 1 week to gathering this information and identifying patterns or discrepancies in the reports. Second, activate the 5 whys technique we mentioned earlier. Apply it to every significant detail in the narrative to get to the core of the facts. Set aside 2 weeks for this analysis and take detailed notes. Third, use Google Alerts to stay updated on new information, news, or changes in the case. Set up alerts with specific keywords and dedicate 15 minutes daily to checking updates. Fourth, engage in online forums or discussion groups like Reddit to gain different perspectives and insights from other investigation enthusiasts. Spend at least 1 hour per week interacting and learning from others. Finally, record all your findings and reflections in Evernote. Create an investigation journal where you can track your progress and revisit your analyses periodically. As you implement this approach, it's critical to watch out for common mistakes. One of the main pitfalls is information overload, which can happen when trying to consume everything at once. To avoid this, set daily limits for reading and analysis. Another common mistake is confirmation bias. If you notice you're only seeking information that reinforces your beliefs, take a step back and deliberately search for sources that challenge your conclusions. The third mistake is losing focus. Stay centered on the main goal of the investigation and avoid getting sidetracked by irrelevant details. Warning signs include growing frustration or a sense of paralysis. To quickly correct this, reassess your priorities and adjust your schedule for a more sustainable pace. Measuring your progress on this journey is vital. First, track the volume of verified and recorded information in your investigation journal. Second, note how many new perspectives you've managed to incorporate into your analyses. Finally, monitor the frequency of significant updates you receive through Google Alerts. Expect to see measurable improvements in your understanding within 2 months. To accelerate the process, use this expert hack. Participate in webinars or workshops on critical investigation, such as those offered by Coursera. This can enhance your questioning skills in record time. After mastering the basics of active vigilance, it's time to take the next step and deepen your impact. Enroll in critical data analysis courses to further elevate your capabilities. An additional recommended resource is the book Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman, which offers profound insights into decision-making and cognitive bias. To expand your results, apply your skills not only to case investigations, but also to evaluating everyday information, like news and policies. This consistent practice not only strengthens your analytical abilities, but also contributes to a more critical and informed understanding of the world. As we reach the micro-climax of this segment, reflect on how these practical tools can transform your perception and ability to question the narratives around you. With these tools in hand, we can now ask ourselves, how can we continue to evolve our understanding and ensure we're not just spectators, but active participants in the pursuit of truth? The journey is just beginning. Throughout this journey, we've delved deep into the layers of complexity surrounding disappearance cases like that of the McCann family. Remember how we started? With a jolt of reality, discovering that the truth can be easily stifled by hidden interests and manipulated narratives. But look where we are now. This isn't just the end of an investigation, but the beginning of a powerful new perspective. Before, it was easy to feel helpless in the face of a wave of misinformation, but together we've explored techniques to question and investigate, turning what could have been despair into empowerment. Can I share something personal with you? There were times when I felt lost, navigating a sea of conflicting information, unsure of who or what to trust. The search for truth seemed endless and at times fruitless. But it was that very sense of uncertainty that drove me to dig deeper, to not accept everything at face value. It's that vulnerability that connects me to you, someone also seeking answers beyond the obvious. And just like me, you're no longer at the same point where you began. Your courage to question and relentlessly pursue the truth is admirable and inspiring. Imagine how your life could be different now that you have the tools to question and unravel the narratives around you. Think about how your personal and professional relationships can grow stronger with this new ability to discern the truth. Picture yourself engaging in richer, more informed discussions with friends, positively influencing your communities with a critical and open mind. The world around you starts to feel clearer, less opaque. This is the transformation we're aiming for, where every discovery is not just a personal victory, but a step toward a more transparent world. Now, I want to hear from you. What was the most impactful revelation for you during our journey? How do these new insights affect your worldview? Leave a comment below and share your reflections. Your voice is crucial in building a strong and engaged community where truth is our shared compass. And for every comment you leave, know that you're contributing to a larger conversation, one that seeks not only to understand but to transform. If you found this journey valuable, consider supporting us through Super Chat. Your contribution helps us keep producing content that challenges and inspires, and there's another chapter waiting for you. In the next video, we'll uncover how active vigilance techniques can be applied to everyday situations, from politics to business. You won't want to miss it, as I promise it will be a revealing and practical experience. So, come join this ongoing quest. Become part of our community and keep exploring what truly matters. Because in the end, the time for truth never stops, and together, we'll be the voice that refuses to be silenced.